Hello and welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Wrestlepedia. This is going to be an episode all about the 2017 Elimination Chamber. I made my predictions the other day and I put it up for people to listen to. Now today I'm going to review and recap the Elimination Chamber that took place this past Sunday. And I think it was, the rest of the show could have been on like SmackDown, but the Elimination Chamber match itself was probably the best Elimination Chamber match I have seen yet. And I've seen pretty much all of them. And this one was really good because they started out, well, I'll get to it last because I'm going to go in order here. But first we had the kickoff match. Mojo Rawley defeats Kurt Hawkins. And it's like, yeah, I figured Mojo Rawley was going to win. But what are they doing with Kurt Hawkins? I think they have a solid wrestler in Kurt Hawkins. I've seen his independent work, and he's decent. Like, I don't know why they're just jobbing him out to everybody. Like, his matches last like a minute. But this was the longest match he's had since he started back in WWE. But it's like, they could do so much with him and have him be like an actual, someone that people have to get a win against. Like, make him like worth something instead of just dropping him out to people. So that was, I don't know. Mojo Rawley, I think Kurt Hawkins has more potential than Mojo Rawley. Mojo's just like generic. I don't know. He's weird. Since he left the Hype Bros, he's just like generic anymore. I don't know what's up with him. But then we had Becky Lynch and Mickie James. Decent, fun match. It was like a very technical match. A lot of technical wrestling skills were showcased in this one. And I think it was good. I don't think the right person won. I think Becky should have lost this match, but instead she beats Mickie James because, Mickie James has just come back, and I think she deserved to win here. But maybe it's because Mickie James is going to get a win for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So we don't know yet. Maybe that'll be what's taking place next. And, Becky's great, but Mickey's back, and she deserved the win. So we'll see if she gets the title at WrestleMania and maybe gets the win she deserves. Because she's been doing some great work since she's returned. Her heel work is awesome. So next we had a 2-on-1 handicap match. Kalisto and Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler. Now I said before that this match was like kind of a dumb idea. But I think it went the best way it could have went, because it started with Dolph Ziggler beating down Kalisto before the match started. So essentially, it was a one-on-one match between Apollo Crews and Dolph Ziggler, because of Dolph Ziggler beating down Kalisto before the match started. And it still ended with Kalisto in the match too, and it ended with them beating Dolph Ziggler, which, okay, they're two baby faces that had to conquer one heel, which is kind of like stupid, in my opinion. I think it could have went a lot better. I think Ziggler should have won this match to make himself look really strong, because with two baby faces winning against one heel, it doesn't make anybody look strong. It makes them look like you needed two people to beat this one guy. But at least if they would have had Dolph Ziggler win, it could have made Dolph Ziggler look strong by beating two people by himself. So, it really doesn't make sense too much. And I think Dolph Ziggler, with his current heel persona, should be going for a main event match. And he's a main event wrestler, and he's been doing great heel work. So I think he deserves to be in the main event picture now. And Apollo Crews and Kalisto, it's also two generic wrestlers. Kalisto's a luchador, but he's like the most generic luchador I've ever seen. No offense to Kalisto. He's a very good wrestler. He's just boring. And same with Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews has a lot of potential to be a main eventer. But with his current path he's following, he's like generic as can be. And he just has no character to him, and he's just constantly happy, and it's really annoying. So there's that. And then the next match was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Turmoil match. every tag team on SmackDown was pretty much involved. American Alpha retained their championships, which is what should have happened. I think that was a good idea. And it's Heath Slater and Rhino looked pretty strong, but they ended up getting defeated. American Alpha, they versed the Usos at one part of this match, and the Usos lost to American Alpha, and then they beat down American Alpha after the match was over. So I pretty much was like, oh my, like this is going to be, they're going to lose the belts to whoever's coming out next. And I knew the Ascension was coming out next after the Usos. And I'm like, oh my god, they're going to put the belts on the Ascension. But they beat down American Alpha. The Ascension comes down and tries to pin them. And Chad Gable breaks up the pin, which makes Ascension look really, really weak. Which I don't think was a very good idea, because of them looking that weak. But I mean, it did make American Alpha look really, really strong, but it did make the Ascension look really, really weak. I also think this would have been a great opportunity for the Revival to show up after American Alpha thought they beat everybody. Then the Revival shows up and they're like, well, you didn't beat everybody. Or they could have just simply said, we're your next challengers. But no, they didn't show up. I don't know when they're going to show up. Hopefully it's soon. SmackDown's tag team division is looking pretty, stupid, honestly. Because they're all like, every tag team is like a dumb gimmick. Like the Fashion Police and Breezango. Heath Slater and Rhino is just weird, and we don't know how long that's going to last. The Vaudevillains are like, just old-time people, and it's like they're cartoonish. None of them are really to be taken too seriously. The only people I could take seriously is the Ascension, if they were booked correctly, and the Usos. The Usos are very good since they've turned heel, and I like them, but just like they haven't used them since they turned heel, really. Like a couple weeks after they used them, and then they just stopped. So I don't know about that, but hopefully the next actual challengers for American Alpha is the Revival. So we'll see if they show up or not. Then after that, Nikki Bella versus Natalya happened, and it ended in a double countout, which is really stupid for a pay-per-view match. Other than that, though, it was actually a really good match. I thought, Nikki put on a pretty good match for being, like, hurting with her neck. Because she's on her way out, like I said before. And, it was a pretty good match. It shouldn't have ended in a counter. I think Nikki should have just won the match. But, I mean, it went the way it did. And I'm not complaining anymore because it was just good enough. Because I know Natalya can put on a good match, but I never thought Nikki Bella was the best wrestler. And this is one of her best matches in a long time. So, it was good. And, yeah, so there's that. And then we had Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. And oh my god, second best match of the night. This was a fantastic match. Anytime they give Luke Harper the ability to show what he's capable of, he damn well shows it. And on Sunday, he did. He showed that he is not a force to be reckoned with. And he is such a good wrestler for being his size. Like, he moves like a cruiserweight, and he's just so good. Like, he should have won against Randy Orton, maybe. But I did say in my predictions video that Orton should have won looking strong into Mania. But Harper is just good enough to where he could have won that match, and Orton still wouldn't have looked weak. So I think, great match, really good match, and I think it didn't really make Luke Harper look weak or anything, losing. So I guess there's really not much to complain about in this match. It was good and it was worth it, so it was pretty cool. But next, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship being defended. Alexa Bliss, the champion, versus Naomi. And in a shocking victory by Naomi, she wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. And, it wasn't the best match, honestly. But, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of Naomi. I do think it was a good moment, though. I think it was a really good moment. And but the bad part about it is, I think she's only being a placeholder champion until WrestleMania. So Mickie James is going to take the title off of her at WrestleMania, because you know how Vince McMahon loves to, have people lose in their hometown. So I think she's just holding the belt till WrestleMania, till Mickie James takes it off of her, which, like I said earlier, is well deserved. I know Mickie James could do a lot with that title, because she's a very well-known wrestler when it comes to women's wrestling. So I think the belt was only, this new SmackDown title was only held by newer wrestlers. I mean, Naomi's not new, but she hasn't been a huge name. Now, if that belt was given to Mickie James, I think she could elevate that title even more by making it even more relevant and making it look like, even veterans like her want to come and take that title for themselves. So I'm hoping that at WrestleMania, then Mickie gets that title off of her. I mean, I hate to see her lose already, because she just won it, but Mickey's more deserving in my opinion. So, and then the final match of the night was the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. And like I said earlier, I think this was the best Elimination Chamber match I have ever seen. It was so exciting. And they even started out with Cena and AJ, which was a great idea, because they have a history and they could put on, a really fun match until anybody else comes in. So it did start out with pretty much everybody, everybody entered, and then Baron Corbin was the first to get eliminated by Dean Ambrose. And then after he eliminates Dean Ambrose, he gets pretty pissed off, and then just demolishes Dean, like wrecks him completely. And the Miz is in his pod watching, because he's the last to be released. And then as soon as he's released from his pod, he goes over and pins Dean Ambrose. So eliminated so far was Dean and Baron Corbin. And then Cena eliminates Miz with one attitude adjustment very quickly. And Miz didn't take very much damage. He just took the attitude adjustment, and Cena won. But, well, not won, but he eliminated Miz. And then the last three was AJ, Cena, and Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt eliminates John Cena with one sister, Abigail, making that look very, very strong. And, that was the perfect way to go. I think this match couldn't have went any better, honestly. So, Bray eliminates Cena, and then left, the final two is Bray and AJ Styles, so the announcers could say, oh, we're guaranteed to have a new champion, which they did. And it ended with AJ Styles going for the phenomenal forearm, and Bray Wyatt caught him in midair for the Sister Abigail. One Sister Abigail, he pins AJ Styles. Bray Wyatt becomes your new WWE champion, which is very, very well deserved. He got a huge pop from the audience because they know that he deserves it. He's a hard worker, and he's been there for how many years now, trying to, get to the top of the mountain. And on Sunday he did it. He's at the top of the mountain, and Bray Wyatt has won the WWE title. So now going into WrestleMania, it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, the two Wyatt family members. So I think this will be very interesting if, considering they book it right on the way to WrestleMania, or the road to WrestleMania. So this was a very fun match. There was a lot of cool spots. AJ got his head smashed into the plexiglass. A lot of people were bitching because the floor wasn't, was padded or something. But do you really want the floor to be solid steel? Because then people will there's a huge chance of people getting hurt. I think that's really dumb for it to have been, a steel floor again, because it's too dangerous this day and age. People don't do that anymore. There's too many people that are older now. Old wrestlers are just hurt too bad. And we don't want that. AJ's already almost 40. We don't want AJ to be severely hurt in his old age. Not that he's old now, but I mean, he's older than a lot of them, and I think he has a more tendency of getting hurt, and I wouldn't want him to do that. So yeah, Bray Wyatt's the champion. finally, I think this was a long time coming. Hopefully from now on they book him correctly, like a monster he is. So yeah, that was my Elimination Chamber 2017 recap. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you for the SmackDown and Raw recap tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves.